Newton's second law of motion, which is the definition of force, says that the force is equal to the mass multiplied by the acceleration. So what this is saying is that no matter what, the force that an object needs to accelerate a certain value is dependent basically upon 1, how much force is applied, and 2, how big the mass is. So we care about how much force, and we care about how much mass. Okay, now when we care about these two things, there's a certain relationship between them that's important. So when we identify the difference, we have to take a second and figure out what the relationship means. As the force applied to a system increases, what that does has two potential options. If you increase the force and you keep the mass the same, in order to make sure that your math works out, your acceleration also has to increase. So if the mass stays the same, acceleration has to go up in the same way that force does. Now, if your force increases and your mass increases, that means that now the two things that are related are force and mass, which means that acceleration is what's constant, as opposed to in the first situation when the mass was constant. So in order to make sure that your object still accelerates at the same rate, force and mass have to be the two that go up together. And the same thing happens when you're talking about things that are decreasing as well. So as force goes down, you have two options. Either your mass goes down or your acceleration goes down. And it all depends on what's constant. In one of the systems, in one of these equations, something has to remain constant. And the thing that remains constant could be force, potentially. If you keep force the same, but you increase the mass, that means you're going to have to decrease the acceleration by the same proportional value in order to keep force the same. So anytime that you have a relationship like this, what this shows us, and I'll tell you what the symbol is, basically, force is proportional to mass. Force is proportional to acceleration. It's proportional to each so long as one of the things remains constant.